Hello everyone. Sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties, but we are about to get started. My name is Monica of That's So Monica, and I'm here to interview one of my friends, Julian of Julian Creates. I'm about to bring Julian in. Julian, go ahead and request. Perfect. Perfect. How are you all? How's everybody doing?
Hey, there it is.
Perfect. I hope we're not getting any feedback right now.
There you go.
Perfect. For this just a bit. Okay, great. How's everybody doing, y'all? Hi, Julian.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing well. Can't complain.
It does feel
Trying to get
good. Yes, I understand.
listen. Today was an interesting day. I wasn't working today. I had the day off and I kind of literally I did nothing.
Rest is restorative, so that's a blessing.
Yes, I did nothing. And so we're going to go ahead and get started because I know tomorrow we're going to have to go to work. So I have to get prepared for that.
Well, I
Um,
went to work today. I had to. We didn't get today off, so I worked.
okay. Well, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry to gloat.
The day. My days will come. It's okay. I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So I have some great questions for Julian, like we've had for the past two hosts. Of course, you all know this is the Sow Your View Live. We're talking to Julian of Julian Creates about his new pattern, about sewing. And we have some fun questions that are interactive for him as well as the audience. So we want and we love the participation. Okay. So make sure that you're participating in the chat with us. We are on here on Twitch and YouTube, and then also right here on Instagram. So ask those questions, put the questions in the question chat, and we're going to go ahead and get started. Julian, tell us a little bit about yourself. Let the audience know who you are.
Well, hey everyone. I'm Julian of Julian Creates. I have been sewing since 2016. Like officially, that's when I officially started. By day, I am in public health philanthropy. So I am a community engagement manager, senior community engagement manager of urban and suburban areas for a private regional philanthropic organization that focuses on bettering the health of our people in our community. Um, so that is what I do by day. And then, of course, by night, I am a soloist. I am an educator. I'm a pattern designer. I'm an ambassador for Bernina and Burnett. Um, let's see, what else? I'm an avid collector of sewing machines and sewing knowledge. I am the administrator and the creator of a Facebook group called So Manly. Um, about 7,000 members that focuses on menswear and menswear inspired fashion. All are welcome.
Okay, that's a lot, Julian. You sound like the female me now that I'm thinking about it.
Love. And but yet I do be feeling like I'm lazy and don't be doing nothing. And then I'm
Hello.
like, wait a minute, this is because also I forgot I'm also like a published writer, so I have articles and stuff out internationally and stuff like
Wow, we are in the midst of one. Okay, a dear friend. He is a historian. I met Julian a few years back when I had started Black Makers Matter. He was pivotal and instrumental in our mission for Black Makers Matter at the time. And then we've always remained in contact. And then now through his journey, we finally got a chance to meet last year at Chicago Frock Tales. There is an echo. Sorry. It's going to be, for some reason, I must have lost my headsets in the midst and I'm not on my computer. So this is what we're going to have. Yeah. So when Julian's talking, hopefully it's not too much. I have an echo. Yes, Monica's going to have an echo, unfortunately. Okay, let's see. Is that a little bit better? Hopefully so.
what's interesting is that it's probably um mostly on one, like, so you're over on Twitch. There's still a echo. I can hear it. But you know what? We're here. So that's what we're going to celebrate. And it just might
Yeah.
be, and that's okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, I just lost my headsets and my computer is doing something crazy and I can't plug in my plug-in headset. So I'm on my tablet. So I'm trying to get it as far away as possible and I will try my best to do that. Sorry about that, audience, and if we need to go back again, well, we will. So I'm going to ask these questions real quick and then I will press mute on my end. So hopefully that will help. Okay. So, Julian, how did you first get started into sewing, and what was your first project?
Okay. So that is a compound question, I'll be honest. So I have always been fascinated um, by sewing. So Sewing Mall asked where they can switch. So on Twitch, this is on That's So Monica's page on Twitch, if you're interested in watching there. Um, So I've always been interested in sewing, even as a child. Like my favorite Disney movie was Cinderella, the old school cartoon, because the animals made the dress, the pink dress. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that was my favorite movie, and always been interested. So I learned how to hand sew at like 4 years old. And I actually have been always interested. I come from a family of sewers. Um, I then went to school, started school for fashion design right out of college, lasted for maybe about a quarter. I was like, no way I'm doing this. And then picked up sewing again at around the age of 30. And with a sewing machine that I have purchased, because people have bought me sewing machines and it just never stuck until I bought my first vintage machine. And since then, it's going. So my first project in this iteration of like 2016 was a skirt. And I was like, oh, this would be nice. My mom will like this. I didn't quite understand sizing yet, so it didn't fit a thigh, but it was cute. I think it's still somewhere. I didn't break it up because I spent some time on it. It looked nice. But yeah, that was my first project.
Okay, Julian. So I think we have solved the problem. I've been able to join my other internet connection. Um, Hopefully, it's not too cloudy. But I think we should be good to go. Sorry about that on Instagram. Okay, I think we're good. Yes. Can you all hear? Is there still an echo?
No, I think we're good
No.
because
Okay. Perfect.
yeah.
And you can hear me. Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes this happens with technology, but you have to learn to pivot. So, thank you for answering that question, Julian. Can you talk? So, you talked a little bit about how you got started into sewing. So, was there any family ties or anything like that? Do you have familiar ties that actually sew? Like my mom sewed. That's the reason why I got into sewing. Do you have any of that?
Yes. So my mom sews, my aunt sews, both my grandmother sewed,
Okay.
uncle sewed, even my father sews.
Wow.
I do
Do
come
you
from a
sew with them?
huh?
Do you sew with
No,
them?
no. And did they teach me? No.
No, no, no,
They was like,
no.
no. By the time I came along, they're like that sewingness that they have put that down. You know, many people,
Yes,
especially like, oh, I can buy it now or something like that. Not doing it for the passion that I sew for. Um,
exactly.
so I learned on my own, and now they expect me to make things for them.
Which happens. So, Julian, what's your favorite thing about being part of the sewing community?
Friendships, definitely have made some great friendships in the sewing community. People who can understand my bit of crazy when it
Hmm.
comes to because not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody can understand what it's like to go into a store and look at an item, but you don't just look at the outside, you look at the inside, look how it's made.
Yes.
And you just go to go. And doesn't mean that you're going to buy because you're like, I can make that at home.
Hmm.
And people like friends who don't so will look at me crazy or think that, oh, well, if that's the case, you can just make it for me. And
Yeah.
why don't you just make my child this Harry Potter cloak? I'm like, no, you can't afford me. So to have friends that can understand that and to make those friendships and connections all across the world has been amazing.
That is definitely true, and that has been a great thing, especially when we attend these events like Frock Tales. You're part of a wonderful community, as well as myself, Black Sewing Network that Carmen founded. A variety of different communities on here, even myself starting sorority with Kiki and Nikki, and us getting together in that aspect. Okay, so these are questions for us to get to know Julian a little bit more. So, who or what inspires your creativity the most, Julian?
Mm. Color. Like, so
Mm.
I sew by vibes. So I usually don't always have the exact project or anything I want to make
Yes.
until a fabric sparks my creativity. Um, and even online, it's like, oh, I like that. And I'll just buy it. Not with a project until it really comes to
Hmm.
me. Sometimes an event will spark my creativity and I will sew around an event. Like, oh, this really excites me. I want to make this. And being extra always works. So that works. Right now, the images of Black dandyism and Black dandies that
Mm.
into the Met Gala has really been inspiring. So
Yes.
images of Black men from the mid-century, so from the 30s to about the 60s, 70s,
Okay.
has really been inspiring me. People such as Dandy Wellington, Oswald Boateng,
Mhm.
like just their style and how they interpret classic fashion in
Mhm.
beautiful colors and prints and stuff like that has really been
Yes.
inspiring right now.
Okay, those are good. See, the one thing I love about Julian is the historical context that he always adds. It's a level of calmness. It's like I want to put on my glasses. You see, I have my glasses. It's very studious because I'm about to get a lesson in fashion history with a little bit of tea and sometimes some shade. Okay,
Every so often. Every
just
so
a little.
often.
Just a little, just a little sprinkle. Okay, Julian, what would you say is one sewing tool you can't live without?
One sewing tool I cannot live without.
Yes.
A good iron.
Mm.
Now, note. Now, if it's ready to wear or something like that, you ain't about to catch me ironing nothing. But I think we forget, especially as sewists, or
Mhm.
people don't quite understand that a lot of times you're spending as much time ironing as you are pressing, as you are
Yes.
sewing. It is
Yes.
sometimes I'd rather you spend a lot of money on an iron that can get really hot and
Mhm.
everything like that than spending a lot of money on a sewing machine that has a bunch of stitches that are not always needed for garment sewing.
Mm. You make some valid points because I will tell you this, ironing, pressing, sealing in those stitches are definitely as important to make your garment look amazing, you
Absolutely.
know? So I want to say, hey everyone, thank you for joining. We apologize about the tardiness in the beginning. We had some technical difficulties, and when we got on, we still had a few, but I think we've managed through that. Hopefully, you don't hear any echoes. We are live on Instagram right here, and we are also live on Twitch and YouTube right here. Thank you all for joining. Please ask those questions in the chat. We can see both chats, and we'll go ahead and get through them. This is going to be a fun and productive interview. We're going to get a chance to meet and learn more about Julian Creates, and then also get some questions and engagement from the audience. Okay, let's get into it a little bit more. Here's my fifth question for you.
Mhm.
If you weren't designing sewing patterns, what do you think you would be doing?
Hmm.
And I'll say if you weren't designing or sewing.
Oh, okay. If I wasn't
Yeah.
designing or sewing,
Hmm.
sleeping. I
What
mean,
I did all day.
like honestly, there was a time like so again, I went to fashion design school. I started there and I
Okay.
was like, I was ready. I
Yeah.
realized that I love sewing. Like
Hmm.
sewing is meditative to me and I love the process of construction.
Hmm.
More than probably designing. Like
Yeah.
putting together is what draws me to everything more than anything
Wow.
else. And once I went to school and figured out that honestly, especially in that first year, you don't do none of that.
No.
You
No.
draw.
Yes.
and you paint swatches of color, or actually gray with
Hmm.
gouache. Do you know how much a tube of gouache costs? I'm still pissed at that I had to spend. And now this is in 2005. I remember spending $20-$30 on a tube of black watercolor to paint
Art,
70
art,
swatches so that I could get a perfect 12 swatch gradient from white to black.
art supplies are very expensive, just like sewing supplies. I don't think
They
people
are.
realize
I'm
that.
still pissed about it though. Still mad. And I loved the fundamentals of learning like color theory and stuff like that. That's important to
Hmm.
know. But
Yes.
like I used to draw before I started, so I was drawing clothing and stuff like that. And
Yes.
sadly, since design school, I stopped. I don't really draw anymore. And that
Really?
was my creative outlet at the time. I hated my drawing teacher. And I was like, nope, I don't want to do this.
Okay.
And stop drawing. I know. So until
Wow.
sewing, I really did not have that. I was trying to find something that stuck to me in terms
Hmm.
of a creative outlet and didn't have one until sewing. And that's why I hold on to it so tightly because I'm like, this was what was missing for so long for me.
Hmm. Okay. So for those who may have missed it, you said it earlier in the beginning, but I'm going to ask this question just to add because you went to design school. I don't think a lot of people may have known that about you. Um, what who taught you how to sew? And did you with the schooling, did you also have to do self-taught sewing yourself?
So I was in design school for one quarter, like a quarter in a class. That's
Mhm.
it. Literally, I remember going to school at the time we were on the quarter system, and it was during the second quarter after Christmas break. And
Mhm.
they were looking at our portfolios because you're supposed to do all the homework of drawing and stuff like that. And it
Yeah.
was like either that first day back or the second day back, and I was like, no, and walked right on out. Literally did. Walked right on out into an advisor's office to change majors. I was like, I can't do this. I don't want to do this. There was like
Wow.
no joy in it anymore for me.
Mm.
Um, I learned how to sew, like even after that, and even before I started sewing, I was on YouTube watching people how to sew and
Mhm.
in different Facebook groups and reading and looking at blogs without even picking up a fabric or a sewing machine or anything like that. I learned through books and YouTube once I found a
Mm.
machine that I liked. Because somebody had purchased me like I'll say the name, a Brother Project One Way machine.
Mhm.
And
I have
literally,
that.
I think I made a pair of pajama pants, and
Mhm.
then that machine never worked again.
Oh, I
It
still have
literally,
mine.
the tension was never right or anything like that again. It did,
Mm.
and so I did not pick it up there. So like that was in like 2014, and then I didn't sew again until 2016 when I decided,
Wow.
you know what? I was seeing people work on vintage machines. I'm like, that looks so cool. And I bought a vintage
Mm.
machine off the shop Goodwill. It was like one of my first shop Goodwill purchases.
Uh-huh.
And here we are. I
So,
picked it up.
talking about machines, Julian, you have quite the collection of sewing machines. Can you tell the audience how many machines you have to date? I don't know if you purchased one yesterday, you know how you do, but
I do, but no, I've been good this month.
okay.
Maybe yes, I've been good this month, just this
Oh,
month. I currently own around 75 sewing machines.
woo, child, 75.
And they range in age from around the 1870s, 1880s to modern.
Wow.
And really, when I started learning how to sew, I realized that different machines have different personalities. And especially sometimes people don't want to sew if they work with a machine that they do not like. And I figured out like, I wonder if I love this machine, I wonder what this machine is like, or what is this brand like, and what is like how they all operate. Um, and I just started purchasing them. I rescue them. That's what I
Wow.
say because
Yes.
most of them are used, um,
Mhm.
and like a lot of times they still have good life in them, especially your vintage ones from the
Mhm.
30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yes.
They still have great life and they are smooth and they have just what you need, especially if you're a garment sewer. A lot of
Mhm.
times we get machines, and now, no, I love them with all the bells and whistles too.
Mhm.
Lord knows, if I could, I will buy the top of the line Bernina that is out right now. It's
Hmm.
gorgeous. It is
You wouldn't
lovely.
buy it. They would definitely give that to you now, darling.
Child.
But
And,
yes, I
and they're
understand
not
what
in,
you're saying.
but they're not in stock. Let's put it that
Yes,
way.
yes.
But for what I need a good buttonhole. I need
Mhm.
a straight stitch, a back
That's it.
stitch, lightning bolt, and a zigzag.
That's it. That's really it, to be honest with you, because when I think about the machines that I have, and really when I first started sewing, I had the same one that you mentioned, that Project Runway one, because it said Project Runway. That was the only reason why I purchased it. And I mean, I made some amazing garments that are lasting now. At the end of the day, I think, and we all kind of say this in the community, it's not necessarily about the machine, it's who's behind the machine. And
Absolutely.
also, the techniques that you take in making sure you have quality garments, from the fabric you select, to pressing, to the way you cut, and a variety of different things. Okay, let's get into the next couple of questions. All right, so Julian, do you have a favorite sewing memory or moment that stands out to you?
Memory or moment?
Yes.
Probably doing my first Bernina expert campaign.
Okay.
So back in, what was that, 21, I launched a machine with Bernina, the L860 Serger,
Mhm.
where I did a full campaign with video shoots and stuff like that. Still going into stores and seeing my face on the ads and stuff like that is pretty neat. When people come up to you like, "You look familiar, I know you." That's still, there's still a cool factor to that for me.
Okay, perfect. Someone sent me a message, a DM, real quick. Do you still hear an echo? Let me know if you guys still hear an echo on my end. I know I have my headsets in. I just want to make sure you're not hearing an echo. I did lower the volumes just a bit. Are you hearing one? No,
I'm
and
not.
it could have just come through. Okay, perfect. Oh, okay. Well, I like that memory, Julian. I do. Hmm.
Mhm.
And I love the fact that you're working with Benina. That's amazing too. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So yeah, definitely. I definitely hold the time that we did with Black Makers Matter. We met with a lot of brands and really held them accountable and holding great conversations. And I think that was my first foray in talking to brands and even meeting with Bernina. And from there, they reached out asking if there was a further discussion around collaboration. And I think the way that my relationship with Bernina has really been, there has been a lot of conversation, and they understand that they are wanting to expand and broaden their audience and their customer base, especially as an organization, because they know a lot of times if you are only going for some of your older customers, they will not always be here. And you need
Yeah.
to start building up your new ones. So having me at the table, having me in part of the discussion, and even knowing who's coming else and who I can introduce them to also be part of the Virginia family has really been an amazing process. And now, even more so, I'm doing a lot more work with Burnett. What I love about Burnett is that I think, especially for a cost perspective, it is more accessible for people to get
Mm,
started and still get a quality machine with a lot of great features. That's the reason that I love them. And if you notice, a lot of my machines that I've shown in lives and stuff lately have all been Burnett machines. Just because I want people to know again that it's about the person behind the machine and not the machine that makes the garment.
that is
And I
true.
need you, do not think about, do not let price hinder you when it comes to making beautiful things. A lot of my stuff, if it got a good straight stitch, I could make beautiful stuff on one of my vintage machines that I got for $20, you know?
Hmm.
If you want a new modern machine, I think that there are very much benefits to looking at some of the things out of Burnett, such as the B77, the B79, the B68, which is a air thread serger cover stitch combo.
Mm,
It really gives you a great bang for your buck, and really it is something that you can grow into and will grow with you for a while.
mm. That's good. That's good. Julian, do me a favor.
Mhm.
Lower the volume on your phone,
Okay.
because yep. And I think we should be okay. If you lower the volume on your phone, your computer is in your ears, right? Is that correct?
No, my phone is in my ears.
Okay, then lower the volume on your computer.
Okay.
Sorry, no volume on your computer, and then you keep the phone up. And then I think we should, yep, we're good. We're good to go. I realized after a moment, I said, okay, wait, what is it?
So
Technical
is that better?
Monica comes in. Yeah, I'm a little delayed today because like I said, I was in bed all day. I mean, I took a shower, but I was in bed just relaxing, did nothing. So we're gonna okay, come on, let's go, let's go. Okay, Julian, let me ask this question.
Hmm.
How would you describe your personal style in 3 words?
Colorful, bold classics.
Colorful, bold, and classic. You kind of said it all like that was one word. Colorful, bold, classics. I like that. That you know what that does describe you. Yes, yes. Okay, okay, okay. We're gonna get in. We're gonna come back. Let's put a pin in on that. Colorful, bold fabrics. Let's put a pin in on that, and then let's come back. What's
Hmm.
your go-to comfort food when you need a creative break?
Ooh, French fries. Yeah,
French fries. Okay,
yeah.
how do you like those fries?
Salt and maybe some ketchup, but really just I rather have them hot with some salt. That's all I need.
Wow. Okay, okay, okay. Good,
Hmm.
good, 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 good. Okay.
Hmm.
If you could have any superpower to help with sewing, what would it be? Should I give you some examples, or you kind of know what I'm getting?
I know what you're talking.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
okay.
for me, my I would like to have a laser in my finger, so laser touch, so that I can perfectly cut out patterns in fabric.
Oh, oh, that's a good one. You know what? That is a good one. Like zing, 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 zing,
Hmm.
and they're cut. Okay. Okay, so Brooklyn Timmy said the best way to have French fries. She agreed with you. Simplified, ketchup and salt. Okay.
That's it. That's all that's needed.
Okay. I'm a little extra. Give me all the stuff, put the cheese and the chili on
No,
certain days when I'm at
no.
like a state fair or something like that. Okay.
Literally,
Okay.
I like places that have like chili. Never. I don't
Really?
want it. I want a fry. That's it. Like,
What
and I
about
have
sweet
my
potato?
places. No, it got to be a regular white potato, preferably crinkle, and I'm cool.
Okay.
That's all I need.
Okay. 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 Well,
Hmm.
now we're gonna get into the questions. We got a chance to know Julian a little bit. What was it again? You said bold, timeless, colorful.
No,
Bold, colorful,
bold, colorful classics.
classic. Oh, okay. Timeless was okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Bold, colorful, classic. That needs to go on a
Hmm.
T-shirt, like straight up, with your silhouette right on it. Okay, so we all know. All right, so let's talk about your sewing pattern, Julian. Tell us about this new sewing pattern journey. Talk to us about how did that get started for you? And then the first question I'm going to ask you about it is what inspired you to design this particular pattern? Was it a specific moment or idea that sparked it?
Okay. So I've been a no me designer what for 3 years now. So my first one came out in the first launch of Nomi. Kind
Hmm.
of that had been working in the background for a while, and really wanted to focus on bringing some of those classic menswear elements back to which we saw in patterns. I focus more on less on the like the sportswear things, very much what you will see other people wear, the streetwear. That's not my vibe. So I
Hmm.
focus more on either fun elements or very classic mid-century modern elements and vintage style.
Okay.
So this pattern has two patterns or two um, pieces, or technically three. So of course here we have um, it is a shirt and a pair of pants. And they're both literally inspired by vintage patterns
Hmm.
that I have in my collection. So while I have machines and stuff like that, I also have a vintage pattern collection of menswear patterns ranging from my oldest one I want to say is 1894 on up.
Wow.
So um, And these are all like paper patterns. So like my first pattern, I think is a shirt pattern from 1894, and it's a McCall's pattern. We know that paper patterns really came into being with Butterick starting in the 1850s. So just kind of showing you how long they have been around. And especially the golden age for men's patterns was probably from that 40s to about the 70s. We saw some really interesting details and stuff like that during those times, especially some of your Vogue Paris original patterns and stuff like that. Always gorgeous, always beautiful. And we don't always see those details anymore in our patterns. And I want to bring some of those back. So the pants are actually a John Lease pattern from the 70s. What's great about these pants is that, and I'll show it here, that there is that built-in belt.
Oh, let
So,
me highlight you here on
mhm.
Twitch.
So the belt is built into the pants. So the buckle and everything that is built into the waistband of the pants themselves, with Western style pockets, which is also a fun detail. Then the shirt, which is really special to my heart, is was originally a pattern put out in 1983 by Willie Smith of Willie Wear. So Willie Smith, and I actually have the original pattern here.
Wow. Look at that.
So Willie Smith was a designer and a sportswear designer from the 70s and 80s. He started designing patterns in the 70s with Butterick. And then when he came out with Willie Wear, which was a sportswear brand that had both men's and women's fashion, similar to Calvin Klein of the time, he also still designed patterns. And what I loved about this pattern is just it was different. You don't see too many men's patterns without a collar that is collarless,
Yes.
with those kind of invisible pockets. The biggest thing that I did was I changed the silhouette a bit and made it long sleeve. But to really honor a Black designer that came before me with a pattern is something that just brings joy to my heart and that I find really special.
That is awesome. You all see the history, the history. Julian is being very intentional with how he created this particular pattern. It wasn't by chance. There was a lot of thought taken into it. When you showed this pattern, when you and I did the live with Lynn, for I think the Grammys red carpet, we were talking about it. I think that's when it kind of debuted. I was excited because it reminded me of West African, being from Ghana, West Africa, the way the men wear the shirts,
Yeah.
the collarless shirts. So I immediately was like, oh, we're doing that for Sew Your View for the month of February, because we just have to. And I actually, guys, so you can purchase your pattern on simplicity.com. They are
Yes.
on sale right now. You can purchase them. Make sure you get them if you haven't. They have not hit our local stores yet for me locally here.
So, and I got some knowledge about that, especially with the way
Okay.
the stores close or are
Yeah.
in our closing. Even before it was announced, a lot of stores had not received any type of shipments for at least 2 weeks before that. And
Got
that's
it.
where the patterns would have been in. So right now, the best place to get them is going to be online on simplicity.com. And they do have the
Perfect.
70% off. So I think my
Perfect.
pattern comes up to about $3
And
and
35
six,
cents, something
yeah,
like that.
something like that.
Yeah. So make sure after this live, don't jump now because it's still on sale. After this live, y'all hear me. After this live, y'all go ahead and get the pattern, the paper pattern or the PDF. They're both on sale right now. I went ahead and ordered a few that I needed to make sure I get, and definitely to support, because I'm making that shirt for myself and I'm also going to make it for my husband and my son. Yeah, I love it. I love it. And the pants too, definitely for my husband. Actually, he can
And
make
what's
himself.
also great is that my pattern now comes in 3 pattern sizes. So it
Oh, wow.
starts at a 36. Yeah,
Okay.
hold on. Let me make sure. Yes. So it starts at a 36 and then goes up to a 56. So you
Okay.
have 3 different pattern ranges. So you have the 36 to 42, you have the
Mm-hmm.
44 to 50, and you have the 50 to 56.
Definite. That's good. So it's very, very size
Mhm.
inclusive as well. That's a good thing.
Mhm.
Okay, good. And we love that. So Julian, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned the patterns, some of the specific things that helped you, that sparked the idea of it. Who would you
Mhm.
say that this pattern is designed for, and what makes it unique, if anything?
So the way that I see this is for the man who wants something to wear to work, but wants to be a bit different, who
Mm-hmm.
maybe does not want to be buttoned up all the time, and they have that flexibility with work, but still wants to look put together and
Mhm.
polished. I think that
Yeah.
this gives a different put together and polished with a casual, more edgy flair that you
Yeah.
can do a lot of things with. So right
Mhm.
behind me, this is the one that literally I finished up today.
That's so
Um,
nice.
so this one is made out of a green cotton, and this is a free spirit print called Lineage by Ebon. So this
Mhm.
is a black design, a fabric designer that is available in stores with just a basic cotton on the bottom. So especially, let's say that you are wanting to experiment with different colors or something like that, or just a little bit trepidatious or wary. This is a great way to have a small infusion of pattern and print without going full hog all the way. This would be great in like an Ankara or something like that for the top of the sleeves with a basic plain bottom.
I love
And then you
it.
can coordinate with a pair of pants to match, like, or even like a denim pair of pants or a gray, a khaki. These are great pants that can really lend themselves to a lot of different options. And if you're jazzy and want a pattern hack, I can even see these made into some flares.
Yes. Yes. I can see a variety for the top alone. Again, the West African the Gunyan vibes in myself just automatically sees the Ankara print. But then I also see it's great for like linens, nice
Mhm.
weight cotton, chambray, chali, a
Even
variety of
lace
yes. Oh, lace.
organza, and especially if you're looking to make this because I always try to make sure that this can work for all bodies. So
Yes.
if you are wanting to feminize the shirt a bit more, what you can
Mhm.
do is crop it. If you did it straight at like your waist length,
Mhm.
that would be a great way that you could feminize the shirt a bit more, make it a bit more oversized, and then crop
Mhm.
it. Or even crop it to the front and do a longer back and do a high and
Yes.
low hem
Yeah,
over a
definitely.
pair of high-waisted trousers would be a great look.
So many ways to do it. I know I cannot wait to make it and kind of play with the fabric that I have. And I can see all the different looks, and I definitely will be wearing it to work, of course. And I think it definitely is on theme. Okay, so someone asked, where do you keep all your 75 plus machines?
So I have now purchased specific shelves because earlier last year I had a situation where my shelves toppled.
No.
Yes, the weight of them cracked it and they toppled. Only one machine perished. Everything else was good.
Oh no. So did you have
But
a funeral for that machine?
no, it's still in the collection.
Okay.
I haven't dared to get rid of it yet. It was a
Gotcha.
vintage
Gotcha.
FOF, actually, a vintage FOF 3
Oh,
360. Yeah.
that's a
So
good machine.
I know.
Ooh,
I
'cause
know.
yeah, they don't make machines like that. All the plastic parts now, those when you have those vintage quality,
So
those.
here's the fun part. And most people don't know this. So as we talk about machines like we want metal parts and stuff like that,
Mhm,
literally brands such as Spa,
mhm,
Viking, and Bernina
mhm,
started to use plastic or what is called nylon gears starting in the 40s.
mhm.
So though we try to say that all the machines are all metal, a lot of times they're not. So a lot
Mm,
of times you will find those nylon gears and stuff like that, not for things that are going to wear out easily. So a lot of times they will be in your cam stacks. So if they get a crack, that part might not work, but other everything else in the machine would. It would not be for the main things that are running, like your feed dogs or your beetle bar and stuff like that.
yes,
But for other pieces is normally where you find them. Neki was also another brand that did
yes.
that used some nylon gears and stuff like that.
Mhm,
But a lot of them, what they did was it was a nylon alloy with a bit of metal in it.
mhm.
So that also helped to make sure that um, they did not wear out as easily and the gears did not wear out. But this is an
Yes.
interesting fact. And we always talk about wanting machines that are all metal. And sometimes, especially for those certain brands,
Mhm.
it started to be more, there being like some plastic parts and stuff earlier in the process. But a quality machine, even with nylon or even with,
Mhm.
as we'll call plastic parts, does not usually wear out. If it is a
No,
good machine, they still last. So
it
I think
still
it's also
lasts.
important.
See what I tell y'all. He's gonna drop some history lessons on us. Okay, welcome to class, y'all. Welcome to class, Julian University. Okay, Julian, about your pattern, can you tell us
Mhm.
any favorite detail or feature that you like about this pattern or that you would like to share?
So the biggest ones, of course. So this one has a hidden button placket.
Mhm.
So there is a hidden button placket on this pattern.
Okay.
Also, I love the invisible zippers. So these are two pockets right here at the chest level. I don't want to drop my full thing, but it is a pocket here. And so that is done with an invisible zipper. But really, there's not too many men's patterns that you find nowadays with an invisible button placket. So to be able to offer that is something that I'm excited to do.
Okay. So, Brooklyn Timmy asks, so will it not be at the Joannes that are not closing? She's asking in regards to the pattern.
So what I think we are currently seeing is that it's taking a while before we're starting to see new
Mhm.
shipments arrive at stores again. Especially now that they are in their bankruptcy, in their liquidation, they probably pause a lot of their sales. And if you nosy, you can go see a lot of the bankruptcy filings and stuff like that, and the creditors and stuff that they have. So probably they
Mhm.
were
I have
having to
all of them.
look. You have to
They mailed them. They
renegotiate.
mailed me the letters.
They did, and I'm trying to figure out why I get them, and I then
If
I
you've
realized
ever worked,
I've done work for them.
yeah,
So,
if you worked for Joe, yep, that's why you got them.
um, so if you, but it's all public record as well, so everybody
Yes,
can go and look.
see it. Yeah.
They are having to renegotiate their contract because technically, if they are closing down about 60% of their stores,
Yes.
they are patterns they would get in bulk pricing. So now
Mhm.
that bulk pricing is changing, so they're probably going to have to renegotiate. So for
Mhm.
right now, it's probably going to be the easiest way to get it online because I think a lot of them it just won't be in stores anytime soon.
Everyone, just start training yourself right now to start looking online for patterns. So your view, myself, I'm going to talk about the state of Joanne and what that means for us moving forward, what that looks like in general for us as a community. I know a couple of people have talked about it. I haven't spoken too much about it because it's definitely a sensitive topic, especially for the employees, and
Mhm.
those who we've worked with that are going through this sad situation that's happening and unfortunate situation at that. And
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So let's talk about what skill level is this pattern best suited for? Any tips for beginners?
So here's what I think. So, and I'm going to give you my story when it comes to skill levels. I started sewing. Like my second project was a button-up shirt. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
because the pattern said super easy. It was a simplicity men's button-up shirt, and it said it was easy. They lied, but I didn't know better. So because of that,
Mm-hmm.
I just took it step by step and was able to make it. And actually, it it's still in my closet. I think technically. Now, is it a hot mess? It's a Monet. Like if you look real close, it's a hot mess. But I'm still super proud of that shirt because literally, I had the audacity to
Mm-hmm.
not worry about if I could do it or not, and just did it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to take more of that audaciousness
Yes,
when it comes to sewing.
definitely.
Um,
Definitely.
we see who's running stuff, and they be audacious as all heck without knowing
How,
how to do anything.
child, don't
So
say
we need to bring that to our sewing and give it a try because we at least have a little bit of knowledge. And at the end of the day, a stitch is a stitch.
a stitch is a stitch. Oh, I was gonna say something else, but I forgot it's Sunday. And no, it's not Sunday, it's Monday. So no, a stitch is a
I mean, but
stitch.
a stitch is a stitch. So I think that honestly, if you take your time and you follow step by step,
Yes.
anybody at any level can do this pattern. I think the shirt is a great place to start because it doesn't have a collar, doesn't have a collar stand. There's less that you have to worry about there.
Yeah.
For I think the invisible zipper, it
Hmm.
can be a little tricky for people. Luckily, I do have a sew along for this shirt
Yes.
available, and
Yes.
I made it today. So people saw how I made it over the past 2 days, and that's on my YouTube. And then there's
Hmm.
also the Simplicity YouTube that has a sew along for the shirt, where I take you step by step of how I make it,
Yes.
which is a little
Which
bit
is
different
good.
than the instructions.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the things we do with sewing. Like I talked recently before about, everybody has different ways of, cooking chicken or whatever. We all have different variations and ways of how we do things. You have to do
Mhm.
things that fit you. Definitely don't skip the steps. But if there are steps that you see that are going to help enhance or to either make it, you're still following the right way, go ahead and try it and do it. We're always learning. I will say with sewing, I'm always learning. Every day I'm learning something new. Okay.
Yes.
Julian, does this pattern have a name? Like I know at one point we were naming patterns. And I know this is not your like independent pattern because it is for IG
Hmm.
Design Group. But
Yeah.
did it have a name? If it did have a name, what would you call it?
This is a ode to Willie. Yeah, this is
Oh,
an
to
ode to
Willie.
Willie. Like
Okay.
honestly, I think especially for it's Black History Month, and what
Mhm.
I do never want us to do
Mhm.
as Black sewers, Black makers, to forget who have come before us, and
Yes.
let's make sure that we can honor them. There are a plethora of Black designers that came before us that sometimes we forget about their patterns. That includes
Mhm.
Stephen Burrows, that includes Patrick Kelly, that includes Byron
Mhm.
Lars, that includes Willie Smith, that includes Latifah. I
Mhm.
can't remember the full name, but I can see it. That includes like Beauty Jazor before it came. She was with Nomi. There are
Yes.
so many who came before us that I want to honor, especially in a crafting space that does not always include people that look like us. They made
Hello.
sure they were the beacons before anybody else was.
Yeah.
And a lot of times their patterns were always it has like sauce. It had
Mm.
the saison. It had the spice that we want that we don't see in other patterns.
We don't see it, and unfortunately, I'll tell you this, I don't see it really right now. Yesterday,
Child.
on Saturday, we can get to, how we do. On Saturday, I was at Project Cell, and one of the ladies had a Essence magazine pattern. And when I
Okay.
tell you, it reminded me of Diane Carroll. Like it was a bad suit that she was making, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" Like not that I wish I was around, and I had a flash to
Mm-hmm.
memory to when my mom was sewing with the patterns, and she had those type of patterns, in her
Mm-hmm.
stash. And I wasn't sewing back then. I was busy sketching. Sometimes when
Right.
like you're just like, man, if you could see yourself like how many years down the line to say, hold those patterns for me, mom, hold the sewing machine for me. But I love what you're saying about giving back, making sure to pay homage to, because that's one of the things I would have loved. And I'm just gonna say this because I keep it 100 all the time. I would have loved to have seen a Black History moment from the pattern companies, especially with so many Black pattern designers in, the Nomi repertoire, or even just in general with IG Design Group. I would have loved to have seen a celebratory. And I'm not sure, was that something that's going to happen, because February isn't over. We're only on day 17. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right,
I
but hey,
know
so I'm saying
all I can
now,
worry about is what I can do and who I can
listen,
celebrate. So I
and you know
celebrate
what?
my other fellow designers, and I celebrate the ones who came before us, and those who I want to honor because that's where I find inspiration from the most.
Yes.
If y'all know me, I am one to buy a lot of vintage patterns. Vintage
Hmm.
is my first love. I feel that it usually fits my body the best. I find
Hmm.
that it can give me everything that I want in vintage. So I buy a lot of vintage patterns, and so that's what I'm normally going to. And when I can honor those who came before me, um, that's what I'm going to do.
Okay.
Now, also, but even with that, I'm also mixing in other people and stuff like that, especially in Black
Hmm.
History Month, and especially in this economic time. I'm
Yes.
I'm buying from my friends. I'm buying from the people that like me, the people that support me, the people that love me, the people that look like me, that also
Hmm.
have similar values as me. So currently, and just a shout out. So I'm currently wearing a new sweatshirt
Yes,
from
Harlem
Gap.
Fashion Row for Gap.
Yes. So this
Yes.
one, this is the Bruce Glenn collab with Harlem Fashion
Yes.
Row
The
that came
twins.
out, and their whole collection is hot. And again, it's about investing in the designers because I
Yes.
want to see more of them, not
Hmm.
only from my crafting perspective, but I get inspiration from what
Yes.
you can also buy. And it's also, I don't need to be making everything in my closet. It can be a balance because I love to sew for me. It is
Yes.
not because I have to, but because I
Mhm.
want to. And I
That's
don't mind
right.
buying as well. So I like and making sure that I have like pieces like this. There are pieces from Rich Press.
Mhm.
There's a new brand that I've been shopping a lot called Black and Ugly. There is
Mm.
Black Men Smile. That is a good brand to buy.
Yes.
Then we also just have our other pattern designers and our indie pattern designers. You have D, you have
Mhm.
Renee, a Soul Motor B. Like, how are you
Mhm.
also supporting those designers as well? And
Yeah.
also, especially in this climate, one of the things that I think we have gotten away from is using our own creativity. And especially
Yeah.
as a designer, I've learned that people do not have the brain power anymore to really be creative as we once were.
Mhm.
People want to know exactly how you did it to recreate it. And honestly, I find joy in knowing people take my design
Mhm.
and make it their own. Because once you
Yes.
buy a pattern and it's in your hands and you cut out the fabric, you are the designer.
Yes, that's
I
true.
want to see you make it into something. So I think this is an opportunity for a lot of people to
Mhm.
also, how can they be their own pattern designers? I think as especially in this time, we're seeing a renaissance of true style and really are going to be harkening back to some of that former age of the 40s and 50s where
Mhm.
the over consumerism of things is going to go away and really focus on things that last and things that really speak to you. And
Mhm.
part of that is going to be you're going to have to do it yourself. So
That's true.
what other things are you doing? And let's say you don't
Mhm.
want to be a full pattern designer by yourself. There's things such as Luderlo, which is a
Yes.
pattern design system that I've been using for years. I have kits, and I have like 9 kits going back to the 30s from them. There are, and in that kit that she just showed, literally for price, you get like 270 patterns for both
So
men,
many.
women, and children.
So many.
And the way that it works for your body is two measurements. Two.
Mhm.
It's your bust and your hip.
That's
And
it.
there's a block that you can try and
Mhm.
build off of that. So I think that we're going to be going back to some of those different things because
Mhm.
there are so much that you can learn in this process that
Yeah.
is connected to sewing that I think we're gonna see a resurgence of how we sew, and that is going to
I
be more creative.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. And I'm glad that you mentioned Luderlo, because they just recently sent me this, and
Mhm.
and you've talked so highly about this, you and Mia. And I remember trying a system that Mia had, and then I said, okay, you know what? Definitely want to try this because I want to learn for myself. Because in Ghana, they look at you and they take your measurements and they
Right.
make an entire outfit with they make the patterns themselves and all of that stuff, and
Mhm.
I'm like, I know that skill has been passed down to me, I know it. You know
I
what I'm
wish I
saying?
knew how to. I wish I knew how to freehand like they know how to freehand. I would
Yes.
like how it works. I'm like, how does
it's
this work in your mind?
It's so crazy because because I remember when I was in high school, I had this express jacket that I loved. No, in high school, college, an express jacket that I loved.
Hmm.
And I remember I said, I just want blazers. I want blazers. This is what I want. And my dad took me to his tailor, and literally looked at the blazer, and he was like, I'm gonna cut it up. I said, you can't cut up my jacket. He said, it's not a problem. I just need to just check a little bit because if you want it exactly like this, or do you want me to make my own? And I said, okay, I want one like this, but I want to see what you make. The one he made, when I tell you how, oh my goodness, impeccable. The jacket, inside, outside. I was not into sewing at the time. I was just into designing. So I would just draw and sketch my things and said, okay, you know
Hmm.
what? This is what I want. Can you make it? And I wish I could just sit. So that's one of the things when we plan this trip to go to Ghana. That is one of the things we're gonna look to learn. But
No.
I'm and I'm glad that you touched on that because it's time. And I know people are saying like bring sewing back. Sewing hasn't died. It's just that it's going to be a new form. And I think that even this new generation, how they're thrifting and wanting to sew and saying, like, I want to change things out. They're all about sustainability and all of these particular things. I think we're going to see that. So this is a great time. It's a sad time at some instance with Joanne, leaving us, but it's also a great time for us to find a renewed focus on some things. Okay. So
Absolutely.
now I'm going to ask you some styling and fabric choices because one of the things I love about you, Julian, is your eye for fabric, your eye for pattern matching, your eye for print mixing. So, what's your favorite fabric to use? And with this pattern, or even not with this pattern because you mentioned it, but what's your favorite fabric to use?
Favorite fabric is on car. Period.
Okay.
Just I mean, I have always when I first started sewing, I was like, I was excited to be able to work with wax prints and different things like that and on car fabric, just because it was different and it spoke to me in terms of the bright colors and the texture and the designs. Like you could not find that anyplace else. And I at the time it was a little store. I don't even I think it was like USA Fabrics or Fabric USA or something like that. That literally I could get clearance
Mm-hmm.
6 yards of clearance fabric for like $11. So
Yeah,
I
fabric.
could literally play with it and try it. And I was like, I'm not gonna feel bad. So I started there
Yeah.
and it's still one of my favorite fabrics to play with. And you can either keep it at that waxy texture, you can wash it, and it just becomes a really thick
Mhm.
quality cotton that lasts. So
Yes.
I enjoy it and I just have fun with it. And I believe
Okay.
that for most of my button up shirts, a lot of my favorite ones are car fabric.
Okay. Okay, good. And we talked about these. It's funny because I didn't even get a chance to ask these questions, but we touched on it earlier. I was going to ask you if this pattern were to walk down the runway, what vibe would it give? And I think you kind of touched on that a
Yeah.
little bit. Um, and then I was going to ask, what are some unexpected fabric choices that would work well with this? And you mentioned organza,
Yeah.
lace.
Lace.
I think that would work great with the fabric. And you recently did a lace shirt last year for Chicago Frocktails that I have. I still want myself.
So
Okay.
Me
Um.
and Lace are we have a love affair, and as the spring months are coming,
Mhm.
more lace is coming. I have
Yeah.
it's not a lace, but it is an open weave knit fabric that does not
Mm.
stretch from Turkey. That is like
Yes.
rainbow. I'm planning. I'm excited.
Mhm.
I'm excited. I'm excited. It won't be with this
Ooh.
pattern. It will probably be either like just a basic polo, or
Mhm.
it will be with my first Know Me pattern, which is 2009, which was kind of a knit button up style of shirt. So,
Okay. All right. So we're gonna play a game. Would you
okay,
rather? Okay.
okay.
Would you rather sew with bold prints or solid colors
Both
forever?
prints.
Okay. Would you rather design for summer or winter collections only?
I don't believe in seasons.
Oh,
So if I want to have
okay.
my behind out in the middle of winter, I'm just gonna put a fur coat over it.
Okay. You heard him say that. All right. Would you rather sew in complete silence or with a playlist
Playlist
blasting?
blasting. Gospel.
Okay. Okay. Would you rather only use vintage buttons or modern zippers?
What machine do I have to do the buttonholes? Is the question.
Ah, whatever one of your 75 machines
If
that you
if I can have one of my mainstay buttonhole machines, I would do buttons before zippers.
got. Okay. Okay. Good. And vintage buttons,
Mhm.
right?
Oh yeah. Oh no, I don't mind. I don't
Okay.
mind a vintage, but
Yeah.
I would want a vintage machine to do vintage buttonholes. Usually, I find that I
Mm-hmm.
get the best quality buttonholes out of a vintage machine. Um, you get the
Mm-hmm.
most control. I know people love a one-step buttonhole on a modern machine,
Mm-hmm.
but then get frustrated when it don't work. Always, whenever machine that you ever get, even if it is the fanciest thing, you always need to make sure you know how to do a four-step buttonhole on your machine,
Yes.
just in case if you have to save any project. I find that I like the control that is offered to me when I'm using one of my vintage
Mm-hmm.
machines. Even on my last coat that I made, um, I was using about 50, 11 machines on that coat, but it was
Mm-hmm.
my vintage Morse Photomatic 4300 that I use for the buttonholes that I love because it's technically like a two-step buttonhole. It's like a little lever I got to push that will start the buttonhole the way that I
Mm-hmm.
want it to go. But it's my controlling it,
Good.
and that's helpful.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good. 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 All right. And if you had to create a fashion capsule collection around this pattern, what other pieces would you include?
So definitely, probably a moto jacket.
I can see
So a
that.
moto jacket, specifically maybe like a leather moto jacket. I would do like a pair of flares. I would do this as a cropped version of this. Um,
Hmm.
and maybe even do like this shirt and the pants and stuff like that as a knit.
I can see that. I can definitely see that, and I can see all of the pairings. As definitely the jacket. I can see the jacket that you're talking
Mhm.
about with it. Okay, so this one is a fun audience engagement and just some additional extra questions before we end our live. Okay, do you have a favorite sewing fail or funny sewing moment that you would like to share?
Oh, there's been a few. There's definitely been a few. Um,
Okay.
I have definitely busted out a pair of pants before. Uh-huh.
Were you dropping like it's hot?
No, see, those I test before I do that. But I remember one time, I think it was actually one a Nomi pattern that I had did for so long, and I wore
Mhm.
out afterwards. And literally, as I'm wearing it out, the button fell and the hook and bar fell.
Oh, that's my worst nightmare.
And basically, the only thing holding them up was a belt.
Oh shoot.
And I was at a professional meeting.
Oh my god. I
I
hope you
luckily
had
got
some
out of
drawers on.
there clothed. Praise the Lord. But yes, uh huh. But
Oh
I
my
think
goodness. Oh my goodness.
I have ripped. I have busted
Mhm.
like show like just busted it wide open, one or twice maybe.
Okay. Oh. Well, we know Julian's dance moves, so if you see him bust out of anything, just know it was not pattern approved or
No, it
tested,
wasn't.
okay?
It wasn't. Mm-mm.
Any secret sewing hacks or tricks you swear by?
I got a few probably. Okay, so
Okay. Give us your top two.
oh, that's hard. That's like choosing children.
Okay, then top one. Okay. Then tell us all of them.
Um, definitely sometimes over steam, I will keep a bottle of water near my iron instead of using the
Mm,
steam in the
to
iron to
spray?
spray down the
Yeah.
pieces.
Mhm.
And if you really are
Yes.
looking for a press, a few drops of spearmint in the water helps to
Mhm.
really permanent,
Mm.
like make the press permanent. Um, spearmint,
Spearmint?
spearmint.
Oh,
Learned that from a
okay.
tailor.
That's a good one. I never.
Um,
Mm.
so there's that one.
Go and get
Um, if a button falls off of his shirt for you, floss. Sew it back
Mm.
on with floss. That button will never go away.
It's never going
Never go
away.
away.
Floss is tight.
Right. And it doesn't break. So and that will probably last longer than
Mhm.
the garment itself. Um, what is another one? Because like, oh, like so if you're having problems doing buttonholes or anything like that, piece of magazine paper behind it as like a tearaway stabilizer.
Oh, that's a good
Mhm,
one. I never heard of that. The piece of magazine paper. Okay, you're giving me some tips
mhm,
I haven't heard about. Thank
mhm.
you. Okay.
So yes,
Those are three
those are
good
three of
ones.
my that I
All
use.
right. Okay, I think we hear a Julian tip book coming soon. Just make sure and you see that you heard it here first. All right. Julian, can you give us three hints about your next pattern without fully revealing it? Please, pretty please.
So okay, I can give you three hints about the next two.
Oh, oh,
Two.
two. Good.
Um,
Yes.
they will be
Okay.
indie, so they will be me coming out,
Okay.
bringing them out. So
Yay.
one will be made solely on the serger.
Okay. Oh, I think I can tell what that one would
Okay,
be. Okay.
and one will be free.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you're coming out with your own indie patterns now, Julian?
That is as part of the Thrive 25. I'm definitely doing that. For some of them, I am
Yes.
working with Copper Creek, so I will be coming out with patterns under
Okay.
Copper Creek. Definitely bringing my
Wonderful.
vintage flair to that into that space. Mostly
Okay.
because there is already a built-in audience that I'm really excited about. And but then also
Yeah.
some on my own with some other projects that are to come.
Okay. Well, y'all go ahead and put some hearts up. I see the hearts on Instagram. Go ahead on YouTube here, YouTube and Twitch. Go ahead and put some emojis up, some clapping hands. We have to support Julian when he comes out with his two independent patterns coming out soon. And then also with the patterns that he comes out with Copper Creek. Will you have any additional Nomi patterns as
So
well?
maybe I don't know about this year yet. So we just
Okay.
kind of submitted for fall. Due to some other travel and stuff like that, I decided to sit that one out. So I might
Mhm.
have maybe
Okay.
it might be like next year that you might see another pattern from me. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Good. Good, 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 good. Okay, okay. So, Julian, I have a few more questions. If you could offer, and thank you all for the love. Yeah, show that love. We have to show each other that love and support within the community because that's what it stands for. If you could offer one piece of advice to a new sewist, what would it be?
Have fun and just do it. Like literally
Okay.
understand that be willing to mess up. Be willing to you
Hmm.
have to find the crew that's going to celebrate you. And I think I try to build a
Yes.
space, especially for new sewists, to find like
Hmm.
I'm just excited that you tried it. We can work it out,
Yes.
but at least you tried it. And if you want to try it again, I need to hook you. And so whatever's going to hook you, even if it's messed up, we can fix it. Ain't nothing
Yeah.
that a seam ripper ain't gonna fix, like ain't gonna mess up. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
So I think
Mm-hmm.
really just try and find people that are going to celebrate
Mm-hmm.
you in that process. A lot of times, there are a
Yes.
lot of those snooty ass sewists around who say like, if I said what I said, I'm saying that's all of y'all. I said what I said. There are those who say if you don't do it this way or it's too late to learn, especially when it comes to men's sewing and tailoring and stuff like that. You feel like it is such a close practice, but there's a reason that there are not that many tailors around anymore because a lot of them died keeping the knowledge to themselves, and that is a
That's true.
disservice to the world and to the community. I want you to try.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to
Yes.
learn and understand why you sew. Because we all sew for different purposes. Like I said, I love construction.
Yes.
I sew for that. I
Mm-hmm.
hate pattern alterations and focusing on fit. Me and my body image
Mm-hmm.
issues, that will go into a tailspin. I just want to sew. Sometimes
Mm.
I don't care
Yeah.
if they got a wrinkle here or there. So find the
Mm-hmm.
reason that you want to do
Mm-hmm.
it and do it because you want to and enjoy it.
Oh. So that ends it for my question. I just saw Onika put she wished she could see you at the spring sewing
I know.
retreat. Just to state, unfortunately, Onika Julian has an amazing opportunity. He will not be coming to the spring sewing retreat, but he will be coming to a sorority retreat as well as some retreats that I got planned up in the future. I'm already letting him know right now. He has an amazing. He's going to
We got some things
Switzerland.
happening.
Y'all,
Yeah, we have some things happening. So I don't know.
can I say that? I'm sorry. I'm
It's
over
fine.
here.
But yeah,
Okay,
I would
I'm
not be
telling
there
your
because I
business.
have some other travel happening. So yeah.
Yes, let's just say that. He has some amazing opportunities, and yeah, I'll be like, look, bye. I'll catch you on the jet.
But
I'll catch you with the
when
next
that
one.
comes out and when projects and stuff come out, it will lead to more opportunities for to see me in person, to hear me teach, and all that other
Yes,
good stuff coming soon.
yes.
Coming soon.
Onika, you'll see him here in Texas very soon. Just know that for sure. Okay, just know that for sure. And we're very, very excited and happy for you, Julian. I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone who's here, who's joined us on Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. This was a very informative live. I got a chance to know you a little bit more, and you taught me a few things that I'm like, oh, okay, I'm about to go buy some spearmint and add to my water and a couple of other things. So, and I'm so excited and I'm so proud of you and everything that you've accomplished and continuing to do, how you are a voice in this community, that you don't waver from that, how you showcase your love for inclusivity as well as diversity, equity, and then also how you champion men and men sewing and including, all types of gender at the end of the day. But just making sure to showcase and continue to be that voice in the community. I truly appreciate you for that. And I think everyone else does as
Well,
well.
and
So
just to give you your
please.
props, I definitely thank you for this platform, for including me with Sew Your View this month, and for just continuing to make a platform to share designers. But you also are always about building community. So I appreciate that, and I love seeing it. And however I can support, I'm down. So
Of course, of course, of course. All day, every day, all day, every day. So, everyone, now, when we end this live, what are y'all doing? Y'all have marching orders. Go ahead and purchase the pattern, the Know Me pattern. Go ahead and purchase the Know Me pattern right now. Julian creates pattern because we all are sewing it up for the month of February. Okay, we are supporting Black History Month, but also supporting Black pattern designers. So please go ahead and support him. He has a sew along. He has two. There's one on the Simplicity page, and there's one on his page. Go to the one on his page, run that one up so he get his views. Okay, okay, cha-ching.
Also,
Do
I
that.
just talked about it today. So I released an article in the latest issue of Love Sewing magazine out of the UK.
Ooh,
So, and it's about the Met Gala and Black dandyism. So definitely go check that out.
that is awesome. And then Julian, I'm hoping that we can cover the Met Gala carpet.
Absolutely.
Myself, me, you, myself, and Lynn, like we did last time, and we can do that. I want to make something dandy-esque
Well,
for
because I will
myself
talk
to
about it
wear.
here, but I've been waiting for March to drop. So the Met
Yes,
Gala theme is tailored to you. That is a Met Gala theme this year.
yes.
And so for
Mm-hmm.
that, I am creating the Tailored for You challenge that will start in March, going
Oh,
to the Met Gala. So how are you bringing dandyism and what is tailored for you looking like for you? So making a piece
I
that
love that.
like you got to put it on, and I would love it if you really take a moment to understand that dandyism just isn't about the look. It conveyed a
Yes,
message. So just like Kendrick
yes.
just conveyed the message, dandyism, especially for black people in general, conveyed a message. We have always conveyed messages in
Mhm.
our fashion. We can take it back to the
Yeah.
law, to the black codes of the 17th and 18th century. We can take it back to the
Yes.
head wraps that we start seeing in New Orleans. We can take this back. So making sure that you are bringing some of those issues and bringing some of those things that you want to see in the world and in your fashion, especially at this time, now's the time to do
Yes.
it. And I
Yes.
personally plan to wear mine for Atlanta Frocktails, which is Alice
Mm,
and Atlanta Land. And
that's wonderful.
I will be bringing dandyism and logomania, a la Dapper Dan,
Okay.
together.
I love it. I love it. Dapper Dan, Harlem, New York. I love it. I love everything. So, Julian, let everyone know where they can find
So
you.
you can find me. I'm Julian Creates on all platforms. I am on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Favorited, Clapper, Red Note. I think, yeah,
Everything.
everywhere. Julian, look up Julian Creates. Google Julian Creates, and you'll find me.
Hello. Hello, you'll find him, Mr. History teacher, and everything and all that. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Julian, friend. I so appreciate you. I'm sad I'm not going to see you in March, but I hope to see you shaking your tail feather. Oh, us. Oh, because we won the dance with one of the frock
Uh,
tails this year. So you will see me at something. And then, yes, and congratulations on everything. Love you, friend. And y'all make sure y'all get the pattern. You sew it up. Okay. Sew it up, post it, all of that stuff. We got to run up that pattern. All right. Love
love you. Thank
you.
you so much, y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you
everyone.
all for joining. I really appreciate you all. Take
Bye, bye, y'all.
care.